Welcome to Restoria. I'm Arthur, and this is your quiet place for gentle bedtime stories. Get comfortable, take a breath, and let the story slow your thoughts and ease you softly into sleep. The evening swim. You come down to the water at the hour when the beach has given itself back to the sea. The families have folded their windbreaks and gone. The ice cream van has stopped playing its tune and rolled away up the lane. What is left is the wide, flat sand, gone the color of milky tea in the last of the day, and the sea beyond it lying almost flat, and the little waves at the edge turning over so gently that they barely make a sound. That sound is the first thing you notice, a low fold and hush, a fold and hush, as the water reaches the sand and slides back, over and over, in no hurry at all. The sand is holding the heat of the day. It comes up through the soles of your feet with every step, stored there through hours of sun, and it is the kind of heat you feel in your whole body and not only your feet. The walk down toward the tide line without hurry, in no rush to reach it, letting the beach take its time to arrive. Your shadow goes ahead of you across the sand, thrown by the low sun at your back, far longer than you are, a thin grey version of yourself walking out toward the sea a few steps in front. Near the top of the beach, there is a flat rock you have used every time you have come here. You leave your things on it now, folded, the towel on top. You tuck your watch into your left shoe, as you always do, and then you check twice that it is really there before you turn away, because you have frightened yourself once too often walking off without knowing. It is a little habit and an old one. The rock has held your towel through a dozen evenings like this, and it holds it again, warm on top where the sun has been on it all afternoon. The last of the day is doing the thing it does at this hour. Low and gold off to the west, laying a broad track across the water that runs from the horizon right into the sand at your feet. Everything it touches turns to honey. The wet sand at the tide line shines with it. The backs of the little waves catch it and carry it and let it go. Out on the flat water it lies in a broad, unbroken road of light, and where a swell lifts, the road breaks and mends itself, breaks and mends, without ever going out. There is no wind to speak of. A breath of wind moves off the land now and then, carrying the smell of dry grass and dune from the fields behind the beach, and then it turns and the smell of the sea comes back, salt and weed and clean cold water underneath the day's heat. The two smells trade places while you stand there, land and sea, taking turns, the same as the little waves taking turns at the sand. You stand at the edge of it, all with your feet on the last of the dry sand, and let the evening settle around you. The water reaches your toes and slides back. It is not cold. That is the first surprise of it every time, how the sea holds the day so much better than the land does, how it can be evening on the sand and high summer yet in the water. The wave comes again, a little higher, up over your feet to the ankle, and it is blood warm at the top where the sun has lain on it, and cooler underneath where the deeper water moves. You stand and let a few of them come and go, getting the measure of it, in no hurry to go further. Behind you, the beach is emptying of its last few figures. A man far along the tide line throws a ball for a dog, and the dog runs it down at the edge of the water and brings it back, again and again, the whole thing gone almost silent with distance. The pair of walkers move along the top of the beach where the dry sand meets the dunes, arm in arm, not hurrying either. Nobody is here for anything in particular. Nobody is here for anything in particular. The busy part of the day is over for all of them. The beach has the loose, unwound feeling of a room after the guests have gone. You look out at the water and pick your line. Straight out along the road of gold to where the sea goes from bright to deep, and then a while on your back under the opening sky. Nobody is nothing between you and that but the walking in, the unhurried business of giving your body to the water a little at a time. The sea lies there and waits for you, flat and patient, breathing its low fold and hush against the sand. You take a breath of the mild evening air, and you step off the dry sand, and you begin to wade out. The first few steps are the ones your body argues with, and then it stops arguing. The water climbs your shins and your knees, cool where it is moving, and you feel the little pull of it as each wave goes past you toward the shore and then draws back around your legs on its way out. The sand under your feet is firm and ribbed where the tide has combed it, a washboard of low ridges you can feel through your soles. Here and there a shell, a smooth stone, a cool ribbon of weed that wraps your ankle for a step and then lets go. Here and there a shell, a smooth stone, a cool ribbon of weed that wraps your ankle for a step and then lets go. You keep walking. This is your first fruit. The sea comes up to meet you. At your thighs, the water asks a little more of you, and you go easier to let it. There is a band of it here that the sun has not reached, cooler than the top, moving against the fronts of your legs as a swell comes through. You wait for it to pass and feel your skin get used to it, and then you go on, and the water reaches your waist and you draw a breath as it comes up around your middle, not from any shock of cold, but from the plain animal pleasure of it. The evening is on your shoulders and the sea is round your waist, and the two temperatures meet somewhere at the small of your back. The bottom shelves away from you here. Gently, an easy slope of firm sand going down into the deeper water. You feel it drop under each step, an inch at a time, the water climbing your body as the ground falls away. It reaches your ribs, your chest. You lift your arms clear of it out of an old instinct, holding them up as if the last dry parts of you were worth saving, and then you laugh a little at yourself and lower them in, and the cool closes over your hands and your forearms, and it is done. You are in the sea to the shoulders. There is nothing left to keep dry. Now and then a little wave slaps up against your chin, and you get a mouthful of the sea, and you spit it back and taste the salt of it on your lips for minutes after. It is colder on the tongue than it feels on the skin, clean and mineral and bracing, the whole ocean in one swallow. You had forgotten that taste across the winter, and here it is again, the flavor of every swim you have ever taken. It gets into everything out here. Your eyes sting faintly with it. Your skin will carry it home. Your skin will carry it home. It is part of the price the sea asks and part of what it gives back. When you dip under for a moment and open your ears to it, the sea is not quiet at all. There is the hush of the water itself, and beneath that the click and rattle of shingle rolling somewhere in the undertow, a dry little music of stones turning over one another as the swell moves them. There is the far drone of a boat you cannot see. There is a ticking and a whispering that has no name, the sound of the whole moving body of the water going about its business at dusk. You come up, and the sounds of the shore return, and you carry the sea's own noises with you in your ears a while. The cool of the water finds the places the day had made tired, the back of your neck, the set of your shoulders, the base of your spine, and it works at them as nothing on land quite does. You feel the knots there loosen one by one under the cool and the salt and the endless lifting of the swell. By the time you turn for the shore, there will be nothing left in them at all. The sea has its own quiet trade that takes the ache out of a body and asks only that you give yourself over to it a while and float and let it work. For a moment you simply stand on the balls of your feet on the shelving sand, chin above the water, and feel how the sea holds you. You are lighter here than you are on land. Every little swell that comes through lifts you a hand's height off the bottom and sets you down again, up and down, an easy rocking you do not have to work for. The water is a live thing all around you, moving where it wants, warmer in one current and cooler in the next, carrying the last of the day's heat in its upper foot and something older and colder beneath. You let it move you. You have nowhere you need to be but here. Then you push off the sand with your toes and give yourself to it. The bottom leaves your feet, and for a breath there is that old strangeness of nothing underneath, the deep water holding you up on trust alone. You take a few easy strokes out along the road of gold, your arms turning over without effort, the water folding past your ears with a sound like the inside of a shell. You are not swimming to get anywhere. You swim only to feel the sea go by, the light work of your arms and the long glide between each stroke, the water opening for you and closing behind. The gold is on the water all around you now, broken into 1,000 moving pieces by the little waves your own body makes. Each stroke throws a handful of gold drops off your fingers. Ahead of you, the road runs on toward the low sun, bright and unbroken where the water lies flat, and you swim along the edge of it, half in the gold and half in the deeper blue beside it. When you turn your face down into the water between strokes, you can see the sun coming through it in wavering bars, reaching down and fading into the green, and then you lift your face and breathe, and the sky is there instead. A little way out, you stop swimming and let yourself come upright again, treading the water with easy circles of your hands. The shore is further off now than you expected. The beach lies low and pale behind you, the dunes a soft, dim line above it, the whole thing smaller and quieter from out here on the water. The man and his dog are gone. The walkers are gone. There is nobody on the sand at all now that you can see, only your own little heap of towel on the flat rock and the empty beach, and behind it the fields going dim. You lean back into the water and let your legs come up, and the sea takes the whole weight of you at once. Your ears go under. The world above the surface drops away to almost nothing. The far sounds of the shore cut off clean, and in their place comes the deep hush of the water itself. A low, steady note that is less a sound than a pressure, the whole sea speaking at once from every side. Your face is a little island in the middle of it, your nose and your mouth and your eyes above the water, and everything else held under, cradled, rocking with the swell. Your sky is enormous from here. Lying flat on the water with your ears under and your face to the air, you have the whole bowl of it above you and nothing else in your sight at all. No shore, no horizon even, unless you tip your head back to find it. Only the sky, going up and up, gold along the western edge where you cannot quite see the sun, and blue overhead, and away to the east a blue so heavy it is nearly the color of the water under you. You float in the middle of it, held between the sea and the sky, belonging to both and to neither. Your breath keeps you up, and you feel it doing the work. When you fill your chest, you rise, your face lifting a finger's width clear of the water. When you let the breath go, you sink again, the water creeping up your cheeks toward your eyes before the next breath floats you clear. So you settle into an easy rhythm of it without meaning to. So fill and rise, empty and settle. Really easy, you don't know that whole sea moving you up and down a little with every breath you take, and you doing nothing to make it happen, only breathing, only floating, only being carried. The first star comes out while you are looking straight up at the place it appears. One moment there is only the deepening blue, and the next there is a single point of white high overhead, faint, steady, there as if it had been there all along and you had only now grown able to see it. You keep your eyes on it. A second one arrives away to the side while you are not watching, and a third, and you give up trying to catch the moment each one comes and simply let them fill the sky at their own pace, as they always have, more of them with every minute that the day drains out of the west. A swell comes through, bigger than the rest, some far echo of a boat or a tide, and it lifts you and lowers you the whole height of it without ever breaking. You ride up its broad, smooth back and down the other side, and the sky tilts and rights itself, and the water laps once against the sides of your face and settles. It is the gentlest thing in the world, that lift and fall, older than any cradle. You feel it in the whole length of your body. The gradual rise, the pause at the top, the easy settling down, and then the flat water again, and then the next one, a good while later. Your arms move now and then to keep you level, a slight scull of the hands out to either side, no more than that. The rest of you has gone loose in the water. The rest of you has gone loose in the water. Your shoulders have let go of the day they were holding. The heat of the water reaches into the muscles of your back and your neck and loosens them one by one, the way a hot bath does, except that here there are no walls and no ceiling, only the open sky and the whole sea to lie back in. You had not known how much you were carrying until the water took it off you. Your time does a curious thing out here. With your ears under and the sky turning slowly overhead and nothing to mark the minutes, it stops running forward and begins to pool. You could have been floating for 5 minutes or for half an hour. You could have been floating for 5 minutes or for half an hour. There is no way to tell and no reason to want to. The light goes down by such fine degrees that you never catch it moving, and yet each time you truly look, the west is a shade deeper than before. The gold gone to amber, the amber going to rose, the first stars multiplying quietly in the dome above you, while the sea rocks you and asks for nothing back. When you tip upright again and clear your ears, the sound of the world comes back all at once. The low fold and hush of the waves at the shore. A gull somewhere overhead going home late. The faint knock of a halyard against a mast from the little harbour round the point. You had forgotten all of it under the water, and here it is again, soft and far and unhurried, the evening carrying on without you while you floated. You tread the water and turn a full circle and take the whole of it in, the dimming sea and the pale beach and the sky going down through its colors in the west. The lamps of the town have come on along the front. A curved string of them follows the shore away to the south, little and gold, doubled in the flat water below each one as a wavering line of light. Higher up, a single brighter lamp marks the harbour wall. The windows of the houses behind the front are catching the last of the sky, burning a flat orange for a minute or two before the sky drops behind them and they go to ordinary glass. From out here on the water, the whole town looks like something remembered, a low gold huddle of lights at the edge of the darkening land, and you a swimmer looking in at it from the sea. The water has changed its color with the sky. Where an hour ago it ran gold, it now lies a dull pewter, almost without color, holding a dull shine off the last glow in the west. Close around you it is clear and black, and you cannot see your own legs beneath the surface, only the pale blur of your hands when you bring them up to scull. It should feel lonelier than it does. Where in the open water in the last of the light, a good way from the shore, you might expect to feel tiny and far from everything. Instead, the sea holds you close and the lights hold the shore for you, and you are as easy as you have been all day. The heat has not gone out of the water even as the day has gone out of the sky. That is the strange gift of the sea in high summer, how it keeps the day well after the land has let it go. The air on your wet shoulders and your face has turned cool now, cool enough that the water feels like the warmer place to be, and you sink a little lower to keep your shoulders under where the heat is. Round your body the sea is blood warm still in its upper reach, and you hang in it with only your face to the cooling air, warm below, cool above, the line between them moving across your throat as the swell lifts and lets you fall. The far out, where the sea meets what is left of the light, a single boat is making for the harbour. You cannot hear it from here. You can only see its lamps. You can only see its lamps, a white one high and a low green one, moving along the dim seam between the water and the sky at the pace of something in no hurry to be home before dark. You watch it a while, rising and falling on the same swell that lifts you, the two of you out on the same wide water at the end of the same day. Then it slips behind the arm of the point, and its lights go one by one, and the sea out there is bare again to the horizon. The stars are coming in earnest now. You lie back once more and let your ears go under, and the sky above you has filled while you were upright, whole handfuls of stars where there were single ones before, and the faint dust of the far ones beginning to show between the bright. The rocking of the water moves them a little in your sight, a gentle sway back and forth as the swell tilts you, so that the whole sky seems to breathe with the sea. You float under it and let it wheel, and the cool air touches your face, and the warm water holds the rest of you, and there is no part of it you would change. Your thoughts have gone quiet without your noticing when it happened. All evening they had been running on in the background, the small business of the day, the things done and the things left undone. And somewhere in the wading in and the floating out, they have loosened their grip and drifted off. There is not much left in your head now but the feel of the water and the sight of the sky. A thought rises now and then, idle as a bubble, and you watch it come up and reach the surface and go, and you do not follow it. The sea has a way of rinsing you out. You had come down here to swim, and instead the swim is unmaking the whole day, stroke by stroke, breath by breath. You have floated like this since you were a child, and your body remembers all of it. The first time someone held a hand under the base of your back and told you to lie down on the water and trust it. The terror of taking your feet off the bottom, and then the wonder when the water held. All the seas since then, mild ones and cold ones, flat ones and rough ones, and your body learning each of them and keeping the lesson. It knows what to do now without being told. It lies back and opens and lets the water take it, and the child who was frightened of the deep is somewhere far down under all the years, and out here at dusk you are as unafraid as it is possible to be. Away along the coast, the other beaches are going into evening too. You cannot see them from the water, but you know they are there, one after another round the wide curve of the bay, each with its own tide coming up its own sand, its own last swimmer or two out in the deepening water, its own string of lamps coming on above the shore. The whole coast is doing this at once in the falling dark, mile after mile of it, the sea going pewter and the sky going down and the little lights coming up. You are one point on all of that, one lone swimmer in one little bay, and the size of it does not frighten you either. It holds you the same as the water does. The tide has turned somewhere under you while you floated. You feel it now in the set of the water, a steady drift carrying you a little along the shore and a little in toward it, the sea beginning its steady climb back up the sand. You do not fight the drift. You let it move you, the whole body of the water leaning landward now, taking you gently with it. It is the sea deciding the evening is far enough on, beginning without any fuss to hand you back toward the shore, and you go with it the way you have gone with everything else out here, loose and easy and willing. For a while yet you stay out, because the water is mild and the sky is filling, and there is no clock anywhere that means anything now. You roll off your back and swim a few easy strokes just to feel the sea go by again, and then you turn and float once more, and the stars are there waiting each time you lie back to them. The rocking has got right into you. Even the slight effort of the swimming has a rhythm that belongs to the water. Even the reach and the glide and the roll to breathe, and between the strokes the sea holds you up as if it had been doing it all your life, which you think it has. The cool of the evening has settled fully now, and each time your shoulders break the surface they feel it, and each time you sink them under again, the water welcomes them back. It is that little pleasure, over and over, the cool and then the warm, that finally turns you toward the shore. Not any wish to leave, only the body letting you know, mildly, without any urgency, that it has had its fill of the sea for one evening and would like the dry sand and the towel now. You take one last look at the sky from the water, the whole tilted wheel of it, and then you turn your face to the lamps of the shore and begin, without hurry, to swim in. The shore comes to meet you by slow degrees. At first the beach is only a pale band under the dim line of the dunes, no nearer for all your swimming, and then between one lifting of your head and the next it is closer, and the lamps along the front have grown from points to little flames, and you can hear the waves at the sand again over the sound of your own arms in the water. You are in no hurry even now. You swim the easy stroke that costs you nothing, rolling to breathe, gliding between, and let the tide do half the work of bringing you home. Then your fingers brush the sand on a downstroke sooner than you thought they would, and you let your legs sink and find the bottom under you again. It is a strange feeling after so much time afloat, the ground come back, the weight come back into your body all at once as you stand up out of the deeper water. You are heavy again. You see pours off your shoulders and your back as you rise, and the cool air takes hold of your wet skin, and for a moment you stand there in the waist-deep water, getting used to having a body with weight in it once more. You wade in through the shallows the way you came, but slower and in reverse. The water falls from your waist to your thighs to your knees, each band of it a little cooler now against skin the sea had warped, the little waves pushing at the backs of your legs as they hurry past you toward the sand. The bottom shelves up under you, the firm ribbed sand rising to meet each step, and the shells and the smooth stones roll under your soles again. Behind you, the sea gives you up without a sound, the water closing over the place where you swam as if you had never been there at all. At the very edge, the last thin sheet of water runs up the sand around your ankles and slides back, and then you step out of the sea altogether onto the wet, firm sand of the tide line, and you are dripping and cool and entirely awake in your skin. The air feels colder out of the water than it did before you went in, and you feel every inch of where the breeze touches you. Your arms, your shoulders, the back of your neck. The day's swim is on you like a second skin, the salt already drying tight and fine on your forearms. The smell of the sea come out of the water with you. You stand a moment on the tide line and look back at the water you came out of. It lies there quiet and easy under the last of the light, lifting and falling against the sand, giving no sign of where you were or what it held you through. Its road of gold is long gone. What is left is a wide, dim plain of sea running out to a horizon you can barely find, and above it the far blue going to black, and the stars, and the one bright lamp on the harbour wall throwing a thread of light across the water toward you. You turn from it and start up the beach toward your towel. You dry sand at the top of the beach is a little shock of heat under your cold feet. It has held the day's heat the whole time you were in the water, and it gives it back now through your soles as you climb toward the rock, the same heat that was there when you came down, waiting for you. You walk up through it without hurry, your feet sinking a little at each step, the loose sand cool on the surface and holding the day just underneath, and the cold of the sea begins to leave your body from the feet upward as the heat of the land comes into it. The towel is where you left it on the flat rock, and it is still warm on its upper side where the sun lay on it through the afternoon. You take it up and press it to your face first, and the heat of it and the dry, rough cotton against your wet skin is one of the plainest pleasures there is. You dry your arms and your shoulders, and the salt comes off in a fine grit under the towel, and your skin begins to glow with the rubbing and the blood coming back to the surface. Your watch is there in your left shoe where you tucked it. You had checked twice, and it is there, and you leave it where it is a while longer. You wrap the towel round your shoulders and sit down on the rock with your back against the higher stone behind it. The rock has kept the day too. It is warm through the towel against your back and under your legs, a broad flat stone that has soaked up the sun since morning and gives it back now into your cooling body. You draw your knees up and pull the towel close and let the heat of the stone and the heat of the sand and the last thin heat of the evening gather around you. The shivering that had started at the water's edge eases and stops. You are dry and held and still humming faintly all over from the sea. You have swum from this beach in every season, not only on mild evenings like this one. You know the water in all its moods, because you have come down to it through the whole turning year and given yourself to it, cold as well as mild. Sitting here on the rock with the salt drying on your skin, you can call up all of those other swims at once, and they seem to belong to the same unbroken swim, as if you had only ever waded into this one sea and were still in it now. There are the cold mornings of early spring, when the sea has all the winter still in it and the air off the land is barely kinder. You remember the walking in on those days, inch by unwilling inch, the cold climbing your legs like a band of iron, the breath going tight in your chest as the water reached your middle. The cold greens flew through your breath, sprinkling behind it. And then the plunge, because there is no other way through it, and the cold closing over your shoulders, and the strange, fierce joy of it once you were in. You remember standing on this same sand afterward with your skin on fire and a towel round you, the crooked rinse to modernity, more awake than any morning on land had ever made you. The rock has kept the day too. It is warm through the towel against your back and under your legs, a broad flat stone that has soaked up the sun since morning and gives it back now into then the plunge. Because there is no other way through it, because there is no other way through it, and nobody has betrayed them. The course doesn't see that as a summer scum, a non-shifting stone, but the mamoonings come in grey and keen with frost coming. Then, but the sea has kept the whole summer banked inside it, and to wade into it is to step into the warmer place. It is swum down into sea mist on days like that. You've swim out into sea mist on days like that. You a Nordic encounter the heat the air had lost, and floated in a little round room of fog with the sound of the waves coming from everywhere and nowhere. The sea keeps its own calendar, a season or two behind the land, and you have learned to read it. Through all of it, there has been this rock. The same broad flat stone at the top of the beach where the dry sand begins, your marker, the place your towel waits while you are in the water. You have sat on it dripping in July and shivering in March and streaming in the autumn fog, and it has held your things and given back the day's heat or simply been a dry place to stand, and it has never once moved or changed. You could find it in the dark. You have found it in the dark more than once, coming up the beach by the feel of the sand after a swim that ran on too late. You learned to swim from this beach a good way down under all these years. The shallows over there where the sand shelves so gently, that is where a hand held you up under your middle and told you to kick. There were bright armbands that squeaked when they rubbed, and a great deal of splashing that went nowhere. And then the day the hand let go without telling you, and you were swimming and did not know it yet. The beach remembers that, even if you barely do. Every time you wade in now, some small part of you is that child again, finding out that the water holds. There have been others in the water with you over the years too. Someone who used to race you out to the far water and always win, and then lie floating and laughing while you caught up. They're someone you taught in your turn, a hand held under a little back, the whole thing coming round again as these things do. Evenings when the beach was full of your own voices and the water churned with the lot of you, and then everyone drifting in as the light went, until it was only you left out on the flat sea, the last one in, the last one out, as you are the last one tonight. Everything on the shore has changed across those years. The beach shop has been 3 different colors. The town has grown a row of new houses along the front. The people who swam beside you have come and gone, and some of them are far away now. But the sea has not changed at all. But the sea has not changed at all. It is the one thing here that is exactly as it always was. The same water coming up the same sand at dusk, the same heat held in it at the end of a summer's day, the same lift and fall waiting to take your weight. You come back to it and it is here, unchanged, holding the whole of your life in its moving dark. And tonight is one more evening laid down on all the others. One more wade into the mild water at dusk. One more float under the opening stars. One more sit on the same rock with the salt drying and the tide climbing the sand. It does not feel like a slight thing, though nothing has happened in it that you could tell anyone. You swam and floated and came out and sat down. That is all, and it is one of the good evenings, the kind the summer is made of, the kind you will find yourself remembering on some cold morning months from now, when the sea has the winter in it again. From the rock you can see the whole beach and the whole bay. The sand runs away pale on either side, empty now, the tide drawing its wet line further up it with each wave. The sea beyond is a moving black, catching the lamps of the town in wavering, broken ribbons along its edge. The sky has gone fully over to evening, deep blue overhead and a last low band of green in the west where the sun went, and the stars are thick above the dunes. You sit in the middle of it, wrapped in your towel, your skin cooling and glowing, your hair dripping down your back, and the whole evening laid out in front of you with nothing left in it that you have to do. The salt is drying on your skin, and it draws tight and clean as it goes. You can taste it on your lips when you touch them with your tongue. The flat mineral taste of the sea, the taste that stays on you for hours after a swim and turns up again in the shower and on the pillow. Your body has that heavy, rinsed, well-used feeling that comes after time in the water. The muscles loose, the skin alive, a tiredness in you that is nothing but good. The sea takes a great deal out of you without your noticing, and gives back this in its place, this deep animal ease that no amount of rest on dry land ever quite matches. The waves keep up their low fold and hush at the sand below you, nearer now than when you came, the tide climbing steadily toward the rock in the dark. You listen to them without counting them. Each one runs up the sand and draws back through the shells, a little higher than the last, the sea coming up the beach to meet the place where you sit. There is an hour yet before it would reach you, and you have no thought of waiting for it, and no thought of moving either. You sit in the dry towel on the warm rock and let the sound of the water go through you, fold and hush, the same sound that met you when you came down. The heat of the rock comes up into you and the tiredness comes down, and the two of them meet in the middle and hold you there against the stone. Your legs are heavy inside the towel. Your arms are heavy where they rest on your knees. The blood that the sea sent racing to the surface of your skin has settled now into a steady, low glow, and the shivering is well gone, and every muscle that worked in the water has gone loose and easy in the sitting. You lean your head back against the higher stone and feel it take the weight, and you let your eyes rest on the sky, and there is nothing in the whole evening pulling at you to be anywhere else. The stars have the sky to themselves now. The last green has drained out of the west while you sat, and the blue overhead has gone as deep as it goes, and the stars stand out thick across the whole dome of it, from the dim line of the dunes at your back out over the sea to the horizon. The faint dust of the far ones has come up between the bright, and here and there one crosses the sky in an instant and is gone before you can mark it. You watch the sky the way you watched it from the water, flat on your back and given over to it, except that now the rock holds you instead of the sea, dry and steady under you. The town along the front has begun to settle toward its own sleep. A window goes out here, and another there, the lamps thinning along the shore as the evening deepens. The one bright lamp on the harbor wall stays lit, and its thread of light reaches out across the water toward the beach, wavering on the little waves, never quite still. You follow it with your eyes from the harbor to the sand and back, an idle traveling of the gaze that asks nothing of your mind, and somewhere in the middle of it your thoughts let go again, the way they let go in the water, and drift off over the dim sea and do not come back. The salt is tight on your skin, and the towel is rough and warm at your shoulders, and the sound of the sea is everywhere. You could sit here a good while yet. There is no reason to move and every reason to stay. The heat of the rock not yet spent, the tide not yet near, the stars only halfway through coming out. Your breathing has gone slow and even, the same rhythm the water taught you, the same rise and fall that floated you under the opening sky. In on the wave coming up the sand, out on the draw of it going back. You have stopped telling which is the sea and which is you. Below you the tide keeps its patient climb up the beach. Each wave runs a little higher up the pale sand than the one before, a thin sheet of dark water spreading and sinking and drawing back through the shells. The sound of it has not changed since you came down to the water at dusk. Fold and hush. Fold and hush. It was there before you arrived, and it will be there well after you have gone up the beach and home. And for now it is enough only to sit inside it, wrapped and heavy and rinsed clean, and let it fold and hush against the sand. Your eyes have grown heavy with the salt and the heat and the plain good tiredness of the sea. They rest on the stars and slip half closed, and the points of light soften and run together into a low haze across the top of the dark, and then you open them and the stars come clear again. You do this without meaning to, the eyes closing a little more each time, the sky waiting there each time you come back to it. The rock under you does not move. The towel holds its heat. The taffak, the sea keeps folding at the sand. And each time your eyes close, the sound of it is the last thing there. And each time they open, it is the first. The heat of the rock has spread all through you now. It came in first at your back and your legs where the stone touches, and it has gone out from there into your arms and your chest and the tired muscles of your shoulders, until you are one even glow inside the towel from your feet to the crown of your head. The cool air lies on your face and nowhere else. The cool air lies on your face and nowhere else. Everything under the towel is held and heavy and easy. Everything under the towel is held and heavy and easy. You have sunk against the stone by small degrees without meaning to, your back finding the shape of it, your head resting where the higher rock leans in behind you, and you let it hold you, and you do not sit up again. Down at the sand, the waves go on. Fold and hush, a little higher each time, and then a little lower, the tide breathing its long breath in and out against the beach. You have stopped following how near it comes. It is enough to hear it. The water runs up the pale sand and slips back through the shells with that thin trailing hiss. And then there is the hush before the next one, and then the next one comes. It has all the night to climb the beach. You have all the night to sit and hear it. Neither of you is in any hurry now. The salt has dried fine and tight on your skin. You can feel it when you move your arm, a faint pull across the back of your hand, the sea on you yet hours after you left it. You touch your lips and taste it there, flat and clean. The smell of the water is in your hair and on the towel and all around you in the cooling air. It is the smell that will follow you up the beach and home, that will still be there faintly on the pillow, that is the last of the swim staying with you into the night. You breathe it in. You let it go. You let it go. The lamp on the harbor wall lays its thread of light across the water still. It wavers on every little wave and never quite breaks, a thin, bright line reaching from the far wall over the dark sea to the sand below you. You watch it move. It is the only bright thing left on all that water now, and it asks nothing of you, and you give it nothing back but the resting of your eyes. The rest of the sea has gone to a moving dark under the stars, rising and falling, lifting the starlight and letting it fall, out and out to the horizon you can no longer find. Your breathing has gone deep and even. It moves in the same slow time as the water below, in as the wave comes up the sand, out as it draws back down. You are not making it happen. You is happening on its own, the sea breathing and you breathing with it, the same as when you floated out on the deep water with your ears under and the sky wheeling overhead. Rock holds you now instead of the sea. The rock holds you now instead of the sea. The woman Kanyat holds the heat. The stars hold their places above the dunes. There is nothing left to do on the whole beach but breathe and hear the water and be held. A late breath of wind comes off the dunes behind you, carrying the dry smell of the grass, and stirs the marram along the ridge with a thin, papery sound, and moves on, and is gone. The air goes still again. The air stars hold. The sea folds at the sand. The somewhere far off a last gull calls once over the water and gets no answer and falls quiet. Then there is only the tide again, coming up the beach in the dark. Fold and hush, the oldest sound there is, going on below you in the night. Your eyes have closed and stayed closed. The heat of the rock is under you. The towel is round your shoulders. The salt is tight and clean on your skin. Your head rests back against the stone. Your hands lie easy in your lap. The tide climbs the pale sand a wave at a time, nearer and nearer, and the sound of it going up the beach and drawing back is the whole of the world now. Fold and hush, fold, and hush. The stars turn above the dunes. The lamp lays its thread across the water. The sea comes up the sand in the dark and draws back and comes again and does not stop.